Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this special collection showcase we're going to look at the 1986 Generation 1 Autobot Combiner Superion. We're going to go through quite a bit in this video, so hopefully I can answer everybody's questions in detail as much as I can. So we're going to look at all of the 5 Aerialbots that combine to form him. We're going to have a look at the accessories that come with him. We're also going to have a look at all the accessories that come with Silverbolt. That'll help you know if you can actually build and complete your own Superion. If you have a look as well, just off camera, I've got various different types of packaged variants of these figures, so we can have a look at the fantastic artwork and battle scenes on the back of that. I've also got the Takara version of Silverbolt there, which means he's got the launcher on his base mode. And for those of you who've not seen that, I'm going to be showing you that in a second. It was one of the bonus things that the Takara combiner leaders had. And I'm going to be pointing out, I suppose, as many things as I can just to keep you informed and show you the differences of how they were released in different countries. So here we go. There he is, right in front of the camera. An amazing and still well-known, fantastic character and figure, Superion. He is made up, of course, of 5 Aerialbots. And the best thing about this was, especially back in 1986 and as a kid, the Autobots now had, you know, some team members that could fly. Because before that, they were mainly all cars and, of course, a few dinosaurs, but nothing like this. Now, the colour scheme on this is brilliant, and I'm sure you can tell already things that you need to be aware of is that the whites can get sun faded. I've got some really good examples of some sun fade on some Silverbolt in a second to show you. Talking of which, let's go through some of the figures' individual names. So the Grey Jet, and I'll give you the proper names in a second, is Skydive. Then we've got Fireflight. Of course, there's Superion himself. There is Slingshot, and there is Air Raid. I'm just going to pop this down here now for a second, just so we can talk about him briefly. So I've mentioned he came out in 1986, and with Hasbro, it was known as Series 3 of the wave of figures that were being released. Whereas in Japan, in 1986, it was more referred to as being part of the wave of Scramble City figures. And this is for a couple of reasons, and one's really simple. And it's basically, if I take one of the individual boxes here, so we've got the Japanese boxed Skydive, and we can see it says Scramble City there and there. Now, what this referred to first and foremost was the cartoon that was airing in Japan at the time, and that was known as Scramble City. A bit like we had the Sunbow ones, which were probably on about season 3 by about 1986. But also, I'll just put that there for a second, and I think what this is a great reason, and it makes perfect sense when you say it. These combiners, you can scramble the limbs. So Skydive can be either leg or either arm. And not just with Silverbolt and the rest of Superion, with all of the other Scramble City teams. So at the time it was just Defensor, Bruticus, of course Menasor and Superion. You could literally mix and match all of their limbs, which was just brilliant. So that in turn took the name for Scramble City as well. Well, we might as well have a quick look at the box again, because I'm sure you'll agree that these little packages are fantastic. This is how they were released in Japan and in Italy at the same time. With the C stood for Cybertrons, which was Autobots, and 51 was its reference number. Now on the back, someone's had the robot points, but you can see the brilliant battle scene they've got there. For anybody who buys or remembers the 1986 battle scene, it was these two particular main figures, the main titans, but in their base modes, and I'll show you a much more detailed picture of that in a second. And I'll show you inside one of these little boxes, and again you'll probably see now why I love these so much. I just prefer them to the cards. I think, again, you know, they just kept everything so much neater. So you've got the little figure in there, you've got the gun, all the paperwork that comes inside it. You can see this is unused, so we've got the sticker sheet, the instructions, and of course the tech spec decoder as well. But I really do like these little boxes. For people who watch my channel quite a lot, they'll have heard me mention it a few times. I just think it's that lovely little extra touch. I'm going to show you the Italian version now as well, which is incredibly similar. And I'm just going to put this away a bit neater. Oh, it's just got stuck, sorry. So this was the Takara version. The Italian version was exactly the same apart from the language. So these were licensed by Takara. You can see the box is the same, but they've just changed the language. So we've got Gig there and we've got Transformer. and we've got the same reference number. But the cool thing about this is you probably notice they changed the names. So Skydive's name is now Log. Everything else is exactly the same. It's just in a different language. So I just think that's a lovely little touch that they had. Right, so let's have a look at some of the individual figures themselves then. So here's Skydive in his robot mode. Now the robots were very, very basic, although they did have ball and socket shoulder joints, but the legs were fused, and this is pretty much the same on all of the Aerialbots, because the transformation process is very, very simple. But of course the main gimmick that they were going for was the fact that you combine to form superion. The main things to look out for will be stickers and the wings, because they can get damaged quite easily. And the weapon that Skydive has is the larger barreled blaster there. And of course you're looking out for the 2 clips, because these can get damaged super easy as well. But again, colour schemes are brilliant. He looks really good. Let me just grab his alternate mode. There's his alternate mode, the F-16 Fighting Falcon. And again, stickers play a big part. If you haven't got the stickers on there, it doesn't look the greatest, to be fair. And of course the landing gear, which folds out from under the nose cone. Lovely. Let's have a quick look at Fireflight then. Whites on him are important. He can get sun faded easy. Again, he's got the ball and socket joints in the shoulders. His blaster this time though, however, is the twin one. So it's slightly different. And again, you need the 2 clips. And these do unfortunately damage incredibly easy. And also his wings, I tend to find that his seem to be the stiffest, and he seems to be the most broken one, shall we say, of the Aerialbots that I've seen anyway. Maybe in the UK. Let's have a quick look at the alternate modes, and then I want to show you something quite interesting on the packaging of him. So his other alternate mode is the F4 Phantom 2 fighter jet. And again, we've got the same landing gear that folds down at the front. And as I say, these wings can get super, super stiff. Lovely. Right, now one of the ways that we were able to get this particular figure in the UK, I think in America it was known as the Crackerjack cereal. Was it you had a Crackerjack Jazz? Well, in the UK we have a cereal still, or a breakfast known as Weetabix, and you could send off tokens and you could get Fireflight. You could actually get 2 figures. The other one was Drag Strip, but obviously that'll be for another video. And there is the stickers and everything inside. So you ate the breakfast, you sent off the tokens, and you were able to get Fireflight that particular way as well. I've got one of his boxes. He's actually out because he's being used, and this is the Japanese version. So there's the artwork on him. He's number 52. We've got Scramble City again, and then we've got the same battle scene. So I'll show you that in more detail in a second, as well as all the gig actual gift sets. Right, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to move on to Silverbolt. So I'm going to again adjust the camera to come back, so hopefully you can see down without it falling over, because what we've got here, and I'm praying this isn't going to fall off. No, there we go. Yeah, so this is Silverbolt in robot mode, and I suppose if I'm being honest, he's quite gangly, but he does have a good use of the gold chrome. That's the gun that he uses, and also Superion holds himself. So it's used, you can see you got the 2 different sized holes there, the pegs at the back, depending on the size of the dowel you want to use, depending on the figure. The gold chrome on here does really pop as well, so it's good that you've got that. This is the standard Hasbro version, so you see this bit here, this is completely loose. So when we look at the base mode that's down there, this doesn't do anything, it just sort of sits there. That's the base mode with the ramp on it. But the Takara version one, if I lift this up and if I show you, you can see inside there there's a spring, and then this red tab there hooks on there, and then you can, I'll put that in the way, you can press this and it will launch it, so you can literally launch the figures. If I move this out of the way, you can see there's the clip, see it's lifting up and down, so you can then attach the clip on there, and then you can of course launch the figures down there as well. So that is the Takara launching version. In fact, if I move it down out of the way totally, I can show you it launch a little bit better than that. I don't want to do it too many times for obvious reasons. There we go. But that's the, and again, it's just something that the Japanese added, give it that little bit of an extra touch. This was on the same, I've done a video as well on Onslaught doing the same, and Motormaster, but I haven't got the Takara Motormaster yet. It's just a nice little touch that they add. Let's have another look at, now this is quite a battered one, so this is a good thing for you to have a look at. So silverbolt is, of course, his alternate mode is a Concorde. This one is missing the nose piece, and one of the most common faults with silverbolt, as soon as I turn him over, is that the legs come off. They get damaged so easy. That's something to be aware of, because it can be quite disguised when it's in its jet mode, and you can already see the bit of sun fade difference in there. Right, I want to show you that battle scene now. I want to show you in a bit more detail. So this is the silk box for silverbolt, and funnily enough, this guy actually had a bubble rather than the polystyrene. His number was C50, and then if we spin it round, there's my favorite battle scene. Super nice, really like that. So if we go to the original release by Hasbro, this is the 1986 battle scene that I'm sure that you guys have all seen loads of times. There is, of course, silverbolt again. There's the pictures of him transforming. He looks really white in that picture. And then there are the two Titans that you're more familiar with seeing in their base modes. There we go. We're going to stick with silverbolt then, so I've got another two boxed examples. These are actually sealed, and they're two different, although they're packaged very similar. They've got the gold box, so these were the gold box reissues that came out in Europe in 1990. The first one that we've got here is the Spanish one, I think it is, yes, Spanish, Cambio and Cinco. So we've got the Spanish writing on it, and he's referred to as Líder, so leader of the Aerialbots. It's a lovely little gold box, and all the languages, of course, in Spanish. Now, the only letdown with these mainly was this picture on the back. It wasn't the greatest at all. 1990, time of the Action Masters, not Action Masters, Micromasters. So you've just got a quite boring battle scene of the Micromasters there. And now we're going to have a look at the English version, so the UK variants. Same packaging, different languages. Again, this one's sealed, and we've got exactly the same, unfortunately. So it's still sealed in the box. You've got all the English language there. I'll turn it around, and then we've got that rather uneventful little battle scene on the back there. One last thing to show you with regards to silverbolt then, and that is, of course, if you do want to make superion, you're going to need the accessories that come with silverbolt. So if I put that there, we go back to looking at him ever so quickly. I'm going to point them out because I did have a bag here. In fact, I'll show you the bags. I can show you, see the sun fade on them, how they get sun faded quite easily, and then I can show you the accessories. So the parts that come with silverbolt are 2 feet, 2 fists, 2 chest pieces, the gun, the head, and then the ramp for the base mode as well. So he's got an abundance of accessories, which of course are really important if you are after completing one yourself. Right, let's move on quickly to the other side. So we've got slingshot. Let's do it the opposite way around this time. Let's look at the alternate mode, which is of course the Sea Harrier jump jet, and this is a brilliant little figure. I love this one, really think this is spectacular. There's the landing gear at the front, and the reason why that folds down is if you want to bring the head down to be the arm, or also if you just wanted it to be a leg, you can leave the head up like that. Now, of course, the most common thing with this is the sun fade on it. It does tend to get sun faded quite easily, and in fact I can show you an example quickly now in these boxed ones. So we've got the Gig one, which you can see is quite yellow, and then we've got the Takara one, which you can see is quite white. So you can see the difference between the two of them straight away. That's the things to be aware of with him especially. We're going to have a quick look at the robot mode though. And this guy is super thin, really thin. And he's actually looks like he's got a metal chest there because he's got a bit of paint chipping off it. His gun, just like him, is super thin, so it's just the single barrel all the way down. Same thing though, ball and socket joints. Oh no, yep, it is ball and socket in the arms, and the legs are fused. Very basic figures as we've discussed. Finally, moving on to, of course, Air Raid. His alternate mode is the F-15 Eagle fighter, and the stickers on here play a part as well. And the white there, somebody once described the one I brought as the white being bone white, and I really liked that analogy. There he is. And let's have a quick look at the robot mode. Again, they are pretty much identical. The weapons are different though. So there's his blaster, slightly different, got the raised part and the big larger barrel there. And again, you've got your ball and socket joints. The other thing to be aware of is these can get quite loose on pretty much all of them, to be honest. So sometimes you'll be putting them there and then they'll drop, but that's just to do with how often they've been played with. The final thing then is to have a look at some other different types of packaging. So I'll pick this up in a second and we'll do a quick pan over, but I'll just pick up the nearest one at first. So we've got the gold individual boxed ones. And there you've just got, this is the English version, so everything's in English. And then if we spin it round, unfortunately no amazing battle scene, just very boring pictures of the transformation process and where to put your stickers. And then I've got the other ones as well, but I'll show you them in a second. But I've got a different variant one. This is a dual Dutch and French carded one, and in fact this one is, it's bigger, the card is bigger. In fact, I'm gonna have to pick it up to show you. I'll show you this quickly first though. So you've got the dual language, which you can see there, and then what I mean by it's bigger, and it's obviously got to be because it's trying to get the both languages in, it's just higher. So there's the 4 of them all sealed on the gold cards, and then you can see there it's about 1 centimetre, maybe 1 inch or so, just that little bit taller, and the hooks are different. So that's literally got the hook to go on, the pegs, whereas them you're going to push through. Right, one last thing then, and that is of course the amazing gift sets that you can see behind there. They do look identical, but I also want to show you these because again I've only showed you the difference in the one of the names in the Italian one. So if I go for the Italian box first, which is this, and pray that everything doesn't fall over, ignore what's behind, we've got the defensive one behind, but you can see there it says Gig, and there it says Transformer again, and then we've got Silverbolt's name is Radiant, Skydive's name we've already seen is Log, we have Opto, who is Fireflight, Vertic, who is Slingshot, and then Tornado, he's got the coolest name, who is Air Raid. There's the brilliant artwork for him. And if we spin him round, we've got another different battle scene. We've got the 1985 battle scene on this one, with your Dinobots, your infamous red tracks, Shockwave, etc. And of course all the language is in Italian, and you've got 6 tech specs because you've got your 5 individual bots and of course superion. Right, finally, just to wrap this up, and then I'll do a quick pan over if anybody wants to have a look at them in a bit more detail, is the standard Hasbro box. Silverbolt is missing because I've got so many different ways of displaying him, and there we can see all of them with their correct names in the box, and then on the back it's the same, it's the 1985 battle scene. But there we go. So hopefully I've pretty much covered all bases there with regards to one of the most popular and well-known combiners in Transformers fandom. He's a great figure, he really is. If you want to be super pedantic, you can say sometimes that the legs are a bit loose, but that's probably mainly due to the fact that they're older figures. You can see that he stands and displays really quite well. So there we go, guys. I'm going to pick the camera up now very carefully, just give a quick pan over for those of you who want to see it all again. I want to thank everybody for watching, taking the time to comment, like, and of course subscribe. If you've not subscribed and you're watching this, please hit that button for me now. And again, keep your ideas and your suggestions all coming forward. Hope you're enjoying the content, and of course please take care. Thanks for watching. Like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe.